It is Friday, November 7th, 2025. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you for being part of this channel. A big time front, cold air sweeping through Canada, the U.S., clipping the Caribbean. This will be the first front this season that gets so far south. There'll be a change in temperatures all the way through the Cayman Islands, back through Belize as we work our way into the middle of next week. A drop in temps coming for some of us, and especially as we swing back toward parts of Cuba and the Bahamas with cold air that's about to funnel in. So I want to show you that. Now, showing you this, watching this pocket of rain as well. This is what's going to be building this weekend. I want to track that in this video, and then we're going to see a surge of rain building in the Western Caribbean near Central America by the time we work our way into next week, early in the weeks. Several areas we're watching between the front, that area of rain, and a new area of rain that is about to build. So we'll cover all of that. Now, looking at this rain right now, most of us on the dry side, couple spotty showers around. With that said, this area is going to continue to work in. No signs of tropical development. It's still the hurricane season, but no signs of tropical development. But we've had a couple showers near Barbados overnight, back through Trinidad and Tobago, and this will continue to wiggle its way off toward the west as we go throughout the next couple of days and increase our chance of rain for some of us later today into tomorrow. And then we're going to see that big front building across parts of the U.S. I'll show you that. That'll bring down the cold weather, a real shot of colder weather, especially across the U.S., but swinging all the way down, clipping northern sections of the Caribbean by the time we get into next week. Now, here's that rain. This is for today that we'll be watching. Here's that surge of moisture we're going to keep an eye on the next few days. Spotty showers, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, back through Cuba, and the Bahamas, hit or miss through Central America. Now, by tomorrow, you can see right here, Guadalupe south through Trinidad, the better chance of rain we're going to have. We could see some isolated flooding. I'll monitor that as we work our way into tomorrow. I'll show you the rain totals in just a second. Then on Sunday, on the backside of this, still some rain. Look at Trinidad. Northeastern Venezuela, still watching some rain in Guyana. And here's the rain building. Jamaica, Cayman Islands south. That's where we're going to see a better chance of rain. I'll keep a very close eye on, of course, Jamaica with the relief recovery efforts. It is so good to hear from so many of you getting back connected in the comments section. I'll be going through those throughout the day. But as we work our way into Monday, most of the rain should be south of the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, although the front itself is going to start to work in right in through here. Because that front gets so far south, it draws up some of the moisture. So this is what we'll be watching early next week. Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, San Andres, Providencia, extra rain, and we'll see how far north some of this gets. And that's what we'll be tracking together as we go through the weekend. But in the short term, Southeastern Caribbean, 3-day rain totals taking us through the weekend with this rain moving in. Look at Trinidad, for example. We will have some spots over 100 millimeters of rain. I mentioned isolated areas of flooding. The highest chance of that would be Trinidad and Tobago, especially southern sections of Trinidad. We're going to keep an eye on that. I've been giving us the heads up here that the rain chance is going to get higher. Grenada, St. Vincent Grenadines, St. Lucia, Barbados. That's what we'll be watching through the weekend. Then to the north, we're watching these fronts that are going to clip by, and it's all tied together. It's amazing how the weather's tied together. I'll show you that in just a second. But as we work our way through the weekend, this here is by the time we get into Saturday. Here's that front here, extra chance of rain in Bermuda. This is the system that's really going to build and crank in the colder air back behind it. So you get this front that's going to set up along the east coast of the United States. That is what actually helps pull some of that moisture north in the Western Caribbean and Central America. I mentioned how the weather's tied together. By the time we get into Monday, there's the big front, and look how it extends from the Atlantic region of Canada all the way down toward the Bahamas, Cuba. It'll get very close to the Cayman Islands into Central America. This is the front that is going to bring in some of the colder weather, and you can see it here on the wind tracker. So winds predominantly out of the east across the Caribbean, and then as we work our way into next week, really the weekend into next week, this here is Sunday, here's the front right here, and look at the winds here. You get over toward Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, sharply out of the north, and that will include Mexico proper and the Yucatan Peninsula. Mexico, and then those winds, as this front continues to progress on Monday, they'll be out of the north right across Florida, cold weather, parts of Cuba, Cooler weather sliding in by early next week. You see those wind arrows, that northerly flow that'll clip by the Cayman Islands. Not as much Jamaica. Temperatures will go down just a touch. Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but just clipping by parts of the northern Caribbean, especially the Bahamas, back toward parts of Central America with some cooler weather. The first front for some of us. And again, I stay with you. I don't leave you after the hurricane season. I stay with you year round. We do this weather community together. So as we track fronts and different things throughout the season, if you're subscribed, you'll get those alerts, earthquakes, volcanoes, anything strange that pops up, got you covered right here. Now, watching the seas building. Watch this though. This is the weekend. A little bit choppier with some of the rain in the Caribbean and the Atlantic passageways. But as that front moves in, this is how far south it gets. You could see it here with the wave heights. This here would be Monday night into early Tuesday. The Bahamas back through the Gulf, especially over toward the Bay of Campeche. We're going to see those higher seas. That's because of that cold front that is sweeping all the way down to the south. Now, looking at some of the rain the next few days, just kind of spotty as we work our way from the Bahamas back through Florida, back through Cuba, kind of hit or miss as far as the rain goes. Same thing, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Cuba, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and Turks and Caicos. We could get a downpour or two, but it's kind of that spotty variety. Not all of us get it. Puerto Rico will see a little bit more. U.S. and British Virgin Islands, a slightly better chance of getting some rain, where we could get a total of about 2 inches or 50 millimeters of rain. But as I mentioned, Guadeloupe south, a better chance of rain. Still a few showers in Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Barts, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, but it's this sector in here where we'll have some of the totals of 75 millimeters of rain or higher as we swing through the weekend with some of that rain that will be moving in, and that will clip by parts of Guyana, even Suriname, and then watching parts of Venezuela with that uptick in the rain. And then by the time we get into the second half of the weekend, watching the rain building near Central America. That's what we'll be tracking through the weekend into next week to see exactly where that rain goes and where a potential flood threat may go. We'll see spotty showers over toward the Yucatan Peninsula, not as much as we swing back toward Mexico City to the north. Mostly dry in much of California, New Mexico, Mexico, Arizona, Texas, generally dry weather. And these are those fronts that will be sweeping in. So with that, could see some brief showers of an inch or two of some rain with that front. Of course, on the north side, watching the Atlantic region of Canada, on the backside of these systems, this time of year, we start to get some snow. So Jamaica, we have a 30% chance of a shower today. By Sunday, with that moisture to the south, rain chance will be a little bit higher. Cayman Islands, 30 to 40% chance over the next few days. And you see in Trinidad and Tobago, it's not going to be all day necessarily, but that rain chance is building. We're going to be watching out for that flood threat very carefully. Again, we could get some spots upwards of 100 millimeters of rain for a 3-day rain total. Watching Trinidad and Tobago very carefully. Barbados, we're looking at that higher chance, especially later today, tonight into tomorrow with that moisture moving in. Same thing in St. Lucia. By Sunday, it goes back down. Sunday, we'll be back down to a 40% chance, but you can see how we're up to a 60% chance through the weekend as we work our way into Grenada. We get back towards St. Vincent the Grenadines. Rain chance builds later today, up to a 60% chance for tomorrow. Same thing in Martinique. Rain chance about 60%, a 50% chance on Sunday. Dominica, rain chance scattered about as we work our way into tomorrow. The rain chance is going to be a little bit higher. Same thing as we work our way back toward Guadeloupe. Then as we live to the north, kind of hit or miss. You see, this is that pocket, northeastern Caribbean, where the rain chance is not as high. Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat could see a few showers. There'll be a couple around, but again, it's not super high. Anguilla and St. Barts, 30% chance for today, and a 20 to 30% chance through the weekend. St. Martin, Saba, Statia, we swing back toward Puerto Rico. Hit or miss, but we could get a couple brief downpours eastern side of Puerto Rico. And same thing, I showed you that pocket where we could get a couple brief downpours, U.S. and British Virgin Islands. So we'll monitor that through the weekend. Scattered about through the Bahamas, 30 to 40% chance the next few days, 20 to 30% chance through the Turks and Caicos, and a little bit higher, bumping up 40 to 50% chance across the Dominican Republic. Haiti this weekend, we're looking at about a 40% chance of some spotty showers. Rain chance stays low as of now in Belize, but again, it is going to start to build second half of the weekend and next week. We'll be watching carefully as that rain chance builds. In Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, the last 2 days as expected, there have been some showers around. Some of it has been overnight, but a 30% chance of showers, up to about a 40% chance, Curacao and Bonaire, both tomorrow into Sunday. So monitoring some of the showers. Guyana scattered about with some of that moisture nearby, and looking at about a 30 to 40% chance back through Suriname. Cuba, we've got some cooler, if not chillier weather, trying to work our way into the middle of next week, early and mid next week. As of now, rain chance about 30%. It does get a little bit higher as we get through the weekend. Costa Rica and Panama, watching that rain building as well as we swing back toward Nicaragua, back through Honduras. Rain chance is going to bump up Sunday into early next week. So we'll monitor that chance of any flooding. 50% chance the next couple of days, Guatemala and El Salvador. We will also get cooler as we work our way into the early portions of next week. Same thing in Mexico City, where we are dry. And eventually that front will sweep by Sunday into Monday, back toward the Yucatan Peninsula with a drop in temperatures Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. Merida, Campeche, Cancun, Cozumel, drop in temps. 50 to 60% chance of some of the rain back through northern Colombia, northern Venezuela, 60% chance. And then we work our way through Bermuda. I showed you with that one front moving by, a much higher chance of rain as advertised for tomorrow. That rain chance is going to be bumping up in Bermuda. So the Eastern Caribbean, we have some of that rain, especially the southeastern Caribbean, that will be moving in. I'll monitor for any flooding the next few days. Western Caribbean and Central America, Sunday into early in the upcoming working week. That's when that rain chance will be bumping up, while flooding in parts of Central America. So that's what we'll monitor. And that cold front sweeping all the way down to close to Central America as we work our way into early next week, clipping by, moving through the Gulf, clipping by the Bahamas with some of that cooler and chillier air. So we'll be tracking that as well. So thank you for being part of this weather community. I'll be going through those comments throughout the day. Have a good day ahead.